Hi guys, welcome back to August Love Story, the channel. My name is Artieka.
And I'm Tommy.
And today we are reviewing Married at First Sight, season 14, episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't already, please take a minute to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and let's review.
I just want to mention this elephant in the room. We're back. Everybody's okay. It's been a minute, but we're back.
We are back. December was long.
And now we're back on Married at First Sight.
Yep.
Let's do it.
All right. So let's start with Lindsey and Mark.
All right.
The reason these experts said that they were matched was because they're high energy and outgoing personalities. Mark the shark, his eyes scare me.
Yeah.
His personality doesn't.
Yeah.
But his eyes scare me. Lindsey's personality scares me.
Oh yeah, she's a ball of energy.
Yeah, she is very in your face all the time. And I'm just like, girl, bring it down 1,000.
This is Mark's second time applying for Married at First Sight.
Mm-hmm.
First time they didn't find him a match.
Yeah, that was like, was it 4 years ago?
I think it was whenever
they were in Boston.
When they was in Boston with the Shanice and Jephthah season.
Mm-hmm.
3 cats.
Yeah, he has 3 cats. She has 2 cats. We did learn a little bit about their family lives. He lost his dad, and his mom is not doing well. She's in rehab.
Yeah, his grandma is at the same rehab.
I didn't note that.
Yeah.
I was in and out a lot in the first episode. Lindsey, I was trying to come up with her name. I'm sorry. Lindsey does not have a relationship with her mother anymore since her parents divorced 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Which I kind of want to get more into that because your parents divorced when you're 30 and then all of a sudden your mom is like, I'm done with you.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
It is very weird. I couldn't imagine my mother.
No, me neither.
Being like that.
But it's cool that her dad and her brother were who she told that she was getting married in 2 weeks. And they took it like, you can, like, she's like the more extreme part of them both because of the way that they took her saying that, because they were just like, oh, okay. Like whoever it is needs to, be able to handle you or whatnot. So,
and I think also the people around him didn't seem as surprised about it because he's done this before.
Yeah.
Like he's gone through this process. Even though he didn't finish the process, he started.
They were more like concerned. His best friend and stuff was more concerned with how if his mom is going to be with the whole process and if she's going to come to the wedding and stuff like that. But they were more so excited for him as well because it's something that he wanted to do as well. It's crazy. With Lindsey, she was telling the story of she was supposed to get married like a year before this.
Oh, yeah.
And then the guy, I guess they were going through counseling. And the guy was like, called the wedding off, didn't want to get married anymore. And so that was one of the reasons why she signed up for it. She also said the dating pool was full of pee as well on episode 1.
My best friend says that a lot.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else for them prior to the wedding.
Are we going like season 1 and then, episode 1 and then episode 2?
Mm-hmm.
Or we're going straight through?
We're going straight through.
Okay.
Like each couple straight through.
Oh, okay. So now we're including episode 2?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So in episode 2, because I don't have much for Lindsey and Mark.
There's couples I had less for.
Oh, man, what you said. Let me see. Let me pull up episode 2.
I just basically said that both when they got down the aisle, or when Lindsey got down the aisle, they both agreed that their deal breakers was the smile.
Yeah.
Like they had to have nice teeth, and they both passed the teeth test. We did find out that she's Greek. I'm not sure if that was mentioned prior to, but she was like, her life is like my big fat Greek wedding.
Mm-hmm.
She was very visibly, to me, drunk. When we watched the after party, she said that she had some Prosecco, but not some Prosecco.
I don't know what it was.
I don't remember. Dom Perignon.
Yeah.
She said she had some champagne, but she wasn't drunk. Yeah. And I'm like, you could have fooled me because you laying out on that bench said drunk.
Yeah, she laid down on the bench after they got married. So I feel like we kind of like jumping around, but it's cool.
I'm sorry. That was just me going straight through to the wedding. Yeah. I literally only wrote 3 more sentences for her.
Oh, yeah. Like,
she's talking too much. They both have cats. She's loud.
Yeah, I didn't have much to say about Mark, man. Like at their wedding, I feel like them getting married, like he saw her, she was super excited. He was like, "Oh, you're pretty," and I think that's the only criteria that he had, or was concerned about. And then, once I
don't think either one of them had big hang-ups on what the person looked like, which I always feel like that's how you should go into Married at First Sight, not having big hang-ups on what the person looks like, because I'm not wanting to call you desperate, but at this point, you've exhausted all your options. Yeah. Like, why are we acting like he got to be 6'3" or above? Like, you couldn't find that on your own.
Yeah. I do think it's cool that they kept up with the tradition. I always thought that was cool from Married at First Sight, is that with the weddings, they do keep up with the cultural traditions, and that's included as well, because it introduces us as viewers to different cultures and different things that we normally wouldn't see at the weddings that we go to.
Because we usually attend weddings of people that are of similar backgrounds as
similar
us.
Cultures. What else did she do? And that's pretty much all I have for them. I'm really looking forward to seeing the honeymoon part. Like these first few episodes when they're doing the weddings and stuff like that. Oh, that's beautiful and everything. But those aren't the exciting part.
They drag those out.
Oh, they do.
I'm just like, let's get to it, guys. Let's get to the mess. Yeah. And I don't mean like the mess.
The more interesting parts of it. The parts of working it out.
Yeah, let's get to the agreeing. Let's get to the disagreeing. Let's get to the figuring things out part. But
because everything now is just the initial attraction.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, my name is such and such. Your name is?
Right.
Who's next?
On to the next couple is Katina and Elijah.
Katina and Elijah.
So Elijah's brother started off by telling him that he's out of his mind. He said that he did take 2 years he didn't say not dating, but he said he took 2 years to work on himself. Yeah. I want to know what that self-work looks like at 27, because
he's 29 now. Yeah.
I have questions. And apparently his sister-in-law feels the way that I feel.
Ooh-wee. His sister-in-law, boy, she is like, he said something that I was like, bro, come on, man.
So we did find out that he lost his dad when he was 16 years old, and he said he's a self-proclaimed mama's boy. His mom is everything to him, which can't fault you for that. Boys love their mama. His parents never got married, and he did mention that as he has been dating in the past years of his life, he was dating as Isaac, as if Isaac is a split personality. Isaac is his middle name, and he wants to come to the forefront as Elijah.
Yeah, more professional name. Like
whatever.
His player days are behind him.
He did talk about his wife needing to know how to cook. he didn't get that. But he talked about his wife needing to know how to cook. And I felt like he was being very unrealistic in what his views for what his wife was going to do and be every day.
Yeah. And that's where I realized his sister-in-law was like, you're not ready. Mm-hmm. Because she was more so concerned about, why do you think that should be the expectation when, 9 times out of 10, she has a job too.
Right. And she was also mentioning, like, if you guys work the exact same shift, how is she going to get home and have dinner done before you get home? That's not going to happen. I'm like, nope. And what happens if I just put ourselves in the situation? When we first got married, we didn't work the same shift, but I got off an entire hour after you. Mm-hmm. And then had almost hour-long commute home.
I don't understand this expectation of, she got to cook. Like, if she, like, the better thing to say is, if she doesn't know how to cook, be willing to learn. Mm-hmm. Because the way I look at it is, you have to be able to feed yourself. Mm-hmm. And then being married, you go into a situation where your family, like your family grows. So you're not going to always eat out when you have children.
No, some people do.
Some people do, but that's expensive. Where it used to cost you $10 to get you a meal, now it costs you $50 every time you go out to eat. Because you got to buy everybody a meal. Just throwing out numbers. So, But anyway, go ahead.
I also wanted to make note that Elijah said he was a cheater in the past. And then we opened up with Katina saying every relationship that she's been in, pretty much she's been cheated on. And I'm like, are we setting her up for failure? Because
you feel like it, right?
Right. I have always been cheated on, and they're going to match me with a serial cheater. I hope it'll work out.
That's too
all
funny.
I got.
Now, she was saying that her parents were divorced when she was a baby, and it was only her and her mom growing up and stuff like that. She just, that cheating thing.
I don't know if she talked about it a lot or they amplified it.
Like that's what I'm trying to get to. It's like, they put so much emphasis on the fact that he was a cheater that it concerns me with their relationship, just because, nobody's perfect. I get that. Mm-hmm. And if somebody's not for you, somebody's not for you. But for us to honestly, when we go think about Elijah and Married at First Sight, one of the first thoughts we think of was he was a party guy and he was a cheater.
Based on his bachelor party, he still is a party guy.
Yeah. It's in him. He's like, I can get down. But
it doesn't look like he's reformed.
Yes.
It looks like he's still currently there, taking up space.
Look at you. But same thing with Katina. Is
she said she was a reformed party
girl, but it's like she doesn't, when you think of her or see her, you don't think of a cheater, but the emphasis is she's been cheated on. Like somebody had a baby on her.
Katina also mentioned that she worked in the nightclub environment, which I have done that, so it's very easy to be looked at as a party girl if partying is what you do for a living. It's not necessarily that you want to party, but the tips are good. Yeah. Like, I know some of my servers that were on my staff could go on a weekend and bring home $900 a night. And I'm like, $1,800 for a weekend of work, and all they're doing is serving bottles. Katina, make your money, girl.
Yeah.
Like, I can't fault you for it. I personally wouldn't want to be at the club every weekend, but I can't fault you for it. So we get to the second episode, and as Elijah is picking out his tuxedo, his sister sitting with his sister-in-law is sitting with his brothers, and she definitely goes and says that he's not ready. Like, I believe she said it in those words, like, he's not ready.
She asked me, is there any doubts? And if he's committed to it sounds like at this, when they were picking out their tuxedos, it sounds like he was still trying to convince himself that this is what he wants to do. And it's crazy because I think that's the issue with him. If they are not to work, it's because he's still not convinced that that's what he wants to truly do.
Like it sounded good, but he's just going through the motions.
Because it's no doubt that he's a handsome guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's no issues there. It's just the issues of, is this the right move that I want to make? You know, can I say this is it for the rest of my life? Which is, for some people, it's scary. For some people, it's not. You know, and stuff like that. And his sister-in-law is actually like, hey, you're like, I know you, you know, type deal. And his brother is the same way. Like, I know him, but, you know, I'm going to support him. But the sister-in-law is speaking up a lot more.
You need people in your life that are like the sister-in-law. They're basically going to be like, I love you, however.
Yeah.
Because the brothers are just like, I mean, this is what he said he want to do. And she's like, let's not ruin somebody else's life.
Yeah, right.
So we get to the wedding day. And right before the ceremony, Elijah starts crying.
Yeah.
And his brother said, oh, that's called the it just hit him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I get the nervousness and anxiety of getting married. Like, I've never been married at first sight, but I get the nervousness and anxiety
amplified
of it.
Because of that.
Right. And you amplify it by saying, I don't even know who's going to be out there. So I'm nervous of who I'm about to be attached to for at least the next 8 weeks, if not the foreseeable future. So I get the tears, but it's just like, dude, let's make sure that those tears are also not like, I'm going to ruin her life tears. Yeah. Because I still feel like he might try to ruin her life.
I don't think he's going to try to ruin her life or intentionally, but I do believe that they're going to run into some issues that could have been avoided easily, you know, and go through some things that's like, most people wouldn't do that, you know. One thing that stood out the most was the fact that he was so nervous, and it's like a rubber band trying to be like, you stretching it all the way to the end, and the tension right there is like, you can't wait to let it go. He was so nervous he had to give the producer a hug, like right before he went out to the part, to the you know, where the preacher was and everything, the officiant. But her friend, you know, when she was getting dressed, her friend was like, hey, I reached out to you just to make sure that this is what you wanted to do, or this is the right decision to make and stuff like that. Because she was like, I guess she was looking at the risk that she was taking in getting married at first sight.
Right.
But essentially, they got married.
Right. So they get to the aisle. They meet each other for the first time. He tells her that she's beautiful. And then basically he fishes for a compliment for himself.
Did he?
I felt like he was. Like, he was like, what you think of me?
Oh, that's what he said?
Yeah. It was something along those lines.
Yeah.
That might not be the exact verbiage, but that's pretty much what he said. What you think of me?
Yeah.
They talk about tattoos. Like, he's like, I'm fully covered and she has a sleeve.
Yeah.
After the ceremony, they talk for a little bit. I know it seems forced, and I thought that production gave them questions to ask, but it seemed like they couldn't get through whatever questions they had to ask.
It's I seen that happen a few times, like Michael and Jasmina too. But for them, it's like that part right there is the most unnatural part of them trying to get to know each other. It's like they don't really know what questions can I ask right here.
Anything you want to.
Right. Like you have a lifetime to go, but you know, just have a conversation.
Like, I know there's been plenty of couples that's been like, what's your last name? So I can know what my last name.
Right,
like, I'm
right.
going to be addressed as Mrs.
Yeah.
What's your last name? Like, you know, what
Like,
do you do for a living?
Talk about whatever. Just be. It's weird because it's like y'all have gone through this whole interview process. Like, it's a process that you have to go through to be chosen, to be married at first sight. And then when you get to your wife or your husband, the conversation, or it may be editing, but it seems like the conversation has stalled.
It's forced at that point.
Yeah. And it's like, man, just have a conversation. Talk about sports. Talk about the news. Talk about whatever.
Pretty day today, huh?
Right. How was your day today? You know, talk about how you were nervous or how you wasn't nervous or something like that. But you could tell, like, he was just going on and on and on and on. It doesn't seem like they were having a conversation. It was kind of like a one-sided, I'm going to tell you about me, and that's it.
And she was just like, yeah, okay. So after that, they're out there sipping champagne, or actually he was chugging the champagne. And he did ask her for another kiss, and she did agree to the kiss. So I'm happy that at least with the first two couples, like, there was no, you're a stranger.
Yeah.
Like,
all
there
three
have
couples,
been,
like,
well, I'm saying just because we don't talk about those two so far. Like, there wasn't any you're a stranger like there have been in previous seasons.
Yeah, I hate that too, man.
Right, like, dude, you signed up to marry a person you don't know.
Right.
So next up, Jasmina and Michael. Jasmina, or did you have anything else about them?
No, that was it.
Okay, good. We find out that Jasmina is one of 9 kids, 7 sisters, 1 brother. I still want to know how she calculates these, because
she probably calculate, because she talks about her sister with her dad and her mom.
Okay.
And she probably includes her mom's children. And probably her stepdad's children too.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder that, because does she know where her biological mom is now? I know she knows
doesn't.
where her biological father is.
I don't think she knows where her biological mom is.
I just know she said that she didn't want to have anything to do with her and her sister.
Yeah.
And her dad got with her stepmom, and then her stepmom was her mom.
Right.
Which, shout out to her stepmom, because, whew, girl. Like, just taking on somebody else's kids because this man that you were with says, I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, they got divorced.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to do this anymore with you. And the kids are like, but I don't want to go with him either. So it's just like, what do we do?
Yeah.
She like, I don't bring them on over. So we talk about Michael's family, or we get together with Michael's sisters, and he calls his brother on the phone, and that's how they find out about him being married at first sight. With Michael, we did learn that both of his parents are deceased. He lost his dad when he was
12 or 13,
a child. I couldn't remember how old it was. I was just like young, and his mother was like right at the
he was 20. He was 20.
Yeah.
When his mom died.
His mom died of breast cancer. I can't remember. I think it was pancreatic cancer for his dad. And he talks a lot about wanting to leave a legacy. And I get it. Like, even without having suffered loss, people want to leave something behind, some type of legacy. And then you have the thought process that, hey, my mom never got to see this happen, or my dad never got to see this happen. So it's a lot for you to feel like you should be doing more, because you have to, like, keep their legacy going on your part.
One thing that his brother asked him while he was on the phone, he had another brother that was killed too. But one thing his brother asked him was, in this process, was something that he thinks he needs to work on. And he said compromise. And I was like, yep, if you can't compromise, you're going to have a lot of trouble. And it's going to be a lot. And sometimes in certain situations, it's going to be more compromising on your part than it is on her part in some situations. So yeah, that's going to be a big one. I'm really interested to see how they gel together because it is a yin and a yang type situation. Like they're completely different people. And just interested to see. One thing I do want to say, man, I think Jasmina is beautiful.
She is beautiful.
He had the only response that he could have when he first saw her. Like, I said, wow.
It's me?
Right.
That's how he felt. On the day of the ceremony, he does get together with his siblings and they all decide to wear a breast cancer ribbon pin to honor his mom's spirit and to have her there with them on the wedding day, which I thought was really nice. And Tommy said he noticed that Jasmina also had
like after they like she did one of the confessionals and she had a pin on too. I was like, oh, that's cool, man.
Okay. I didn't notice that, but I also probably wasn't really paying very close attention.
Yeah.
The wedding episodes are always so hard for me to get through. And then I watched 1 and 2 back to back. And I was like, this has been way too many hours of Married at First Sight. Like, I cannot do this ever again. I got to do 1 episode at a time. Jasmina, right before the ceremony, she's like, oh my God, I feel like I need to throw up. And I was like, I did not quite have that feeling about getting married, but I can see why you feel that way. Like, just let me get all the anxiety out, and if it comes out in a vomit, all right, cool.
Yeah.
But she said she's very nervous, getting ready to walk down the aisle. And then when she and her mother get ready to walk down the aisle, as he sees her walking down, he does say, wow. Tommy was like, that's the only response you could give. Because, I mean, she fine. I was like, all right, Tommy.
It's not even that she's fine, because she's fine, but she's beautiful, man. Like...
So she gets to the end of the aisle. She's like,
God put her together and was like, I'm going to kill her with this one.
She gets to the end of the aisle. She's like, do you come here often? Right. I was like, good way to break the ice. Yeah. So they do share their vows with each other, and then they do the jumping of the broom.
Did you see her drop the mic when she
did with her vows? She was like, done.
I was like, yes, man.
I'm going to kill them with these.
Right.
Killed them. Question for you guys that have or know the symbolism, because I did not look it up. Tommy and I jumped the broom, but we did not sweep the broom.
Yeah.
What's the symbolism behind the sweeping?
I guess we could look it up, though.
Yeah, I'm just asking if they know. I just said I didn't look it up.
I like reading the comments.
I do too. That's why I was like, give me something to ask. I'm still going to probably look it up later, but I haven't as of yet.
I'm definitely going to look it up.
So after they get done with their actual ceremony and they go to sit and talk to each other, they talk about sleeping habits, and Jasmina doesn't sleep enough. She said she goes to bed at like 2 and gets up at like...
she's in the bed.
She gets in the bed at 10. I'm saying I consider going to bed being falling asleep.
You do that.
Not anymore.
Okay.
But she gets in the bed at like 10, and then she stays up until 2 watching, was it Korean comedies or dramas?
I don't know.
I know it was Korean something, because she was like, she's obsessed with BTS and Korean culture now. But she stays up until 2 a.m. and then her body naturally wakes up at 6 a.m.
At least she's staying up watching hentai.
Okay, fair. He said he doesn't watch TV at all. He was like, yeah, I get into bed about 9:30 and I'm out.
He was like, I'm an old man. Get to bed about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And she was like, what do you watch? And he was like, I don't watch anything, actually. She was like, you don't watch Marvel?
And she was like, no, she says you don't watch movies. He was like, yeah, I mean, I go to the movies. And she was like, you don't watch Marvel? And he was like, is this the ending of our marriage? Because she seemed like she was very like stuck on that. They go back in, they talk with the families as they're about to get ready to start the reception. And she says that she feels like there's a small spark between them, and he's like, nah, there's chemistry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's chemistry because she's cute.
There's an attraction there for him.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't read what her response. Like, I think she thinks he's a handsome guy, but I don't know. You know, I couldn't read what she was feeling. Like you said, she said it's a small spark that will probably grow, but you know, you can read what the feeling was for the other couples, but not for them.
Yeah. So the last couple, we don't actually see them get married. We just lead up to their actual ceremony. Is it Noy?
Noy and Steve.
Steve looks like Nev or Neve or whatever his name is from Catfish. Yeah. Every time I look at him, I'm like, we are being catfish. This is not real. They are not a real couple. He was an implant from MTV to figure this out because something is going on. They are also the couple that I wrote the absolute least about.
Are they?
Oh, I mean the other girl too. As Lindsey kept calling her. What's the other girl's name?
The other bride.
We do know that Steve doesn't have a job.
Yep.
Apparently he was an engineer.
A sales engineer, so he's something.
I don't know what that means. He doesn't have a job. He got laid off or something. I'm assuming he got a severance package.
He got some money because he was able to get laid off and go for 4 months down the East Coast, as he say, and live like that. Because most people who get laid off are trying to find another job so they can. I guess. And he said he didn't have an issue with, like, I imagine that he wouldn't have an issue with finding a job.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you're in a very specialized field like engineering, it's not difficult to land another position. I would think of it like kind of like being, say, a doctor. Unless you got a malpractice suit against you, if you want to pick up and leave Georgia and go to,
I think that was
Arizona, like you can do it.
That was something one of his sister, either his sister or his sister-in-law, were saying that one of the things they think she would want, like Noy, not knowing who she was at the time, is that for her husband to have a job.
I would think so too.
Now it's interesting that they chose this guy knowing that he didn't have a job. So, and a lot of people probably would be like, but he, you know, obviously he can take care of himself.
He said that he can freelance if he wants to, which, okay, I get. I mean, we applaud people having their eat, pray, love moments. I just don't think you need to eat, pray, love with a wife or a husband.
Or getting married at first.
That's what I mean. Like them coming into it unknowingly.
Yeah. But on the other hand, it's treated differently too from a man and a woman. Because if a lady, if it was flipped around, the emphasis wouldn't be on the fact that she doesn't have a job. The emphasis would be on something else, but the emphasis are on him not having a job. Just the same thing as we were talking about with Elijah one. It's he doesn't have a job. The man is expected to have a job because they have to provide for the family.
I wasn't thinking about Elijah one.
No, I'm talking about Steve. If Noy and Steve was
no, I get that. I'm just saying, like with the Elijah one situation, I think that if Elijah one's wife said the inverse of like, my husband needs to have meals cooked at home, I would be like, the stakes are not that high. I'm not saying you're going to find this, especially not on a married at first sight. You need to go find somebody that's doing that beforehand. So Noy, the only thing that I really realized about her was that she comes from a huge family. And she says she wants to have that. And I think it was her sisters, or friends when they were there at the bridal shop when she was picking out her dress, they were like, we would like for her to be pregnant like yesterday. And I was like,
I didn't notice that, but what I like, the thing that stood out to me the most was the fact that she was, and I don't know if this was on the episode or if it was on the other stuff that I was watching about this, which I hate that I watched it, but
it's okay.
She was pointing out the fact that she like her family, like basically were refugees here. Mm-hmm. And she was
born in Laos on a refugee camp.
Yeah. And they came over here and her family had to work so hard to get to where they are. And she doesn't want a poor lifestyle. Mm-hmm. You know, she doesn't want to struggle for things and stuff like that. And then here it is, she's getting married to a man with no job. Like at the end of the day, even though Steve may be financially okay, still at the end of the day,
we have to find out more about Steve's circumstances, because let's just say Steve owned a house and Steve was like, you know what? Got laid off my job. I'm going to Airbnb my house out.
Right.
And I'm making X amount of dollars a month. So it's not that I don't have income. I just don't have a job.
Right. And that's the biggest hang up that they're on, because it's true. Nobody wants to come into a situation unknowingly saying, okay, how are we gonna finances? Mm-hmm. How are we gonna take? Because finances are a big issue in marriages. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to really talk about finances and understand, you know, where you guys stand, because I mean, come on, everybody need a roof over their head now.
Right.
But that's what I find interesting about them too. What else? How far did we make it?
We made it to them getting to her. Like, I think we got to the point where he saw her.
Yeah.
As she was about to walk down the aisle, and then the episode ended.
Oh, no. They did. She was asking the producer how much time. They was like, we got to go now.
Oh, yeah. And her dad was like, now.
Now.
The only other thing that I wrote down about them was Steve said that several of his family members have had arranged marriages and it worked for them. So that was why he decided to pursue this option, because the other ways weren't working. And he's like, it worked for my family, even though it wasn't married at first sight. It was definitely like arranged somebody else marriages. Picked your spouse for you. So it could work. Mm-hmm. Completely get it. Don't understand, but I can get it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I have for the two of them. And then you have anything else?
No, that's
last couple being Alyssa and Chris.
They are not gonna work. I don't think they work from the jump.
That other girl. That's all I can hear in my head. So when they started out, Chris told his mom that he was filming a real estate show for his job, just so she wouldn't be confused by why there's a camera crew there filming them eating. His mom seemed excited enough about him getting married. Alyssa told her family, and the first question that they asked was, will the dog Penelope be in the wedding? And I'm like, that's all you got?
Right.
I was confused by that. She did mention in a previous relationship that her and her boyfriend, she thought everything was going great. And then he came home and he was just like, don't cook dinner because we're breaking up. And I was like, yikes.
That's
People
tough.
do this?
That's tough.
Like, I've been broken up with.
I have too.
But it wasn't like that.
Yeah. Like, most of the time I've seen it coming, or like, we knew, like, okay,
yeah,
this ain't
I've been broken
work.
up with, and I've broken up with guys, but it's never been that, like,
yeah, abrupt.
We cool. No.
Nah, this ain't gonna work.
It's like, no, we both knew for like the last 3 weeks that we don't want the same thing. So yeah, let's not do this anymore.
As you see, I put my phone down because that's pretty much all I got for them.
One thing of note about Alyssa was when she got to the bridal shop, she was trying on dresses, and she said she's already purchased 10 dresses just in case she didn't like what they had. And I was like, maybe I miss the little girl being excited about her wedding dress and what it was going to look like and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But I didn't even have 10 styles of dress that I thought, oh, yeah, this is going to kill them for the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And you got 10 at the house and you still trying on dresses? Girl.
You ain't even looked at the dresses that they had. But
and wedding dresses can be expensive.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can buy $100 dresses, but then you can also go and find dresses that are in the tens of thousands of dollars. I don't know how much money she's spending on these dresses, but I'm just like, girl, something's going on.
Yeah.
I am very interested to see because after they got married, after they got married, there was something that happened and she like walked off from him very dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
So I am interested to see how all of that works out. Or if it doesn't work out. I just want to see it unfold.
Yeah.
Put it like that. I don't want to do predictions today.
You don't?
No. I want to wait until we see the last two ceremonies.
Oh, okay.
So we'll do predictions next week.
Okay.
I still probably, my thoughts are not going to be swayed off of certain people.
Yeah.
But definitely, I
got you.
Want to wait and do the predictions then. Do you have anything else?
I did want to bring up the what he was saying about him being able to control himself if there's an issue, right? He was like, he can't control how she feels, but he can control how he feels and how he responds to it. Mm-hmm. And he can change if he needs to change. And his friend was like, don't come in so wanting to be in control or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I found that to be interesting that he's already talking about changing himself. I'm like, you have to like, you have to be a chameleon in a sense, but you have to be 100% yourself in this process. And that's what I'm hoping that he's able to do is be 100% himself and able to go through the process and not lose himself in trying to be what she wants. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's just one of those big concerns. I already gave you my thoughts on them, but you know, I guess we're just gonna do it next week. But that's all I got. That's it.
All right. I was trying to come up with a question.
What are y'all predictions?
Yeah, I guess what are your predictions on the first three couples? Those couples were Jasmina and Michael, Lindsey and Mark, and Elijah and Katina.
And we didn't say anything about Mark, the shark's eyes.
But his eyes were very aggressive.
It looked like somebody is hugging him and he's holding in a fart or something.
Mark, excuse me, Mark's face looks like it's like has two levels. I'm asleep, I'm awake.
Yeah.
Those are the only two levels that he has.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
That's pretty much all I got. If you guys haven't already, please take a minute to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and just comment down below. Let us know what you thought about these first three weddings. If you guys got spoilers, please no spoilers. I kind of want to see what happens with these next two couples to get married. And that's all I got.
Me too. Yep.
All right, y'all. Bye.
Peace.